Hey. So it's me again, Butterfly to Light, and I'm here doing this video from a question that was asked for me by a subscriber, and they wanted me to do the difference between the May-born Geminis and the Gemini and the May-born Geminis and the June-born Geminis. Okay, so they want to know, is there any big difference between the two? And please ignore that crap in the background that you may hear because I can't help it. People just rain on my parade, and I'm not going to stop talking. All right. Is there a very big difference? I don't know if it's a big difference, but I do feel like there is a difference. And I don't think it's too big or broad of a difference. Okay. So let's just start with May born Geminis, especially the ones kind of coming off of that cusp, May 21st, May 22nd, the cusp energy, May 23rd. They're going to be, because they're bringing a lot of Taurian energy with them, or they got that with them. So they're going to be more on they have a lot of mind activity, but I feel like they're going to be more on the practical side about how they're going to demonstrate or demonstrate activity that through their mental that they're receiving mentally, and how they're going to project it. So they could operate less on their emotions and more on what they feel like they physically need at the time, or practically need what makes sense. Now remember, practical to a lot of people is not really the same to a Gemini. Okay. But a lot of May-born Geminis will be worried more about their finances and how they can bring more in, what they can do to bring more in. Will they have enough, things of that nature? Now, they might not voice this, but it'll be in their head, even if it's subconsciously in their head. It's something that they could tend to worry about. Like, if, is even, how Geminis have that the mind thing back and forth or whatever with the duality. The May-born Geminis can even be like, okay, while they're thinking things to create. They can even ask themselves, like, okay, now how do I even make this make sense? They'll go there to think that, how do I make this make sense? Because it's I'm hearing it in my head. I love the idea, I want to do it, but if I got to make this make sense, because if I can make this make sense to me, then I'm able to make it make sense to other people. Now, I'm not saying that they care about what someone's thinking, because typically Geminis don't, you know what I'm saying? It's just that their whole thing is, if I'm going to make sense out of this, if it's going to benefit me, then it's got to make sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So they'll review and rehearse some things in their head first before they actually act on it. They'll give you a little bit more leeway before they actually act on it, but don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? If you hit the wrong nerve, they're going to act on it. They're going to say what it is that they need to say, and they're going to, they can verbally insult you. But I don't know if the May Geminis verbally insult you more than the June Geminis. Okay, so let's talk about the June Geminis. The June Geminis is going to be very, very active in the mind. You see Geminis suffer could some Geminis could suffer bipolar suffer with bipolarism. Should I put the ism on there, y'all? Like, I don't know, but suffer with bipolar, with being bipolar, especially the June ones, because their minds are super active. They don't, because remember that Taurian energy is kind of like waned off. They don't really know what to do with them thoughts sometimes. And they could literally think something and shoot it off right off the tip of their tongue, right out of their mouth, really quick, and think about it later. Now, you have, like, there's sometimes where you have a Gemini with a Mercury retrograde in their chart. And so they may not be very quick verbally in response, but they may have they may show their dissatisfaction, or if they can't express what they want to express verbally, it can turn violent. Okay, like whether they punch in the walls, or they're being they're being destructive towards something. Okay, but that's not just Gemini's, but I'm just saying this is a lot of times with Geminis that can't really voice something that they want to over the way that they want. They'll use other ways of expression, especially like if it's in anger. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Or you'll see the June Geminis write a lot as well. All Geminis can, and do, but I think that the reason why the June Geminis would probably be more um um cold when it comes to the writing is because, like I said, they'll think something and they can just I'm like the way that they think, they don't like to go back and rethink over something that they thought. Okay, I'm not saying that they can't, because we all know, like, as they mature, yeah, they get better with this type of stuff, but they'll go and they'll write a song like that, you know what I'm saying, real quick. And they'll write a song, they'll write poetry, they'll just about anything off the top of their head, a freaking book. Okay, but this is all of Geminis, but like I see a lot of June Geminis doing this and writing lyrics, songs, poetry. Okay, because they like to take fractions of poetry and put them together, because writing a book sometimes is just more consistent. I'm not saying that they can't write books, because they do, though. Especially when they get straight there and they're like channeling real quick, they could write a book in no freaking time. And June Geminis, especially towards the end of June, is pulling in more Cancer energy. So they could be very sensitive. I think that June Geminis is more sensitive than May Geminis. And there could be things that you say to them that, or they see around them, because it's more, I feel like Geminis view things more than interact with them. Okay. So it could be something that they see that's going on around them, and they'll feel empathy, or they'll feel sorry for the person. If they feel like they care, couple things. If they care, or they feel like they have not been wronged or mistreated by the person or situation. Because if you get them feeling like they've been wrong or mistreated, their whole thing would be, you know what, okay, I kind of feel like you're my enemy, or you're trying to make trouble with me. You know what I'm saying? I got to prove you wrong. And there's this thing, of course, with all Geminis that it seems like they keep bringing up the past, because they feel like you got to get it. If you don't get it, then we ain't comfortable. But yeah, the June ones, they could be very, um, all of them, but the June ones, they'll be more, I feel like, empathetic of other people's situations if they care about you. And it'll be to the point of so much that they'll sometimes put their own stuff on a hold, and their own things that they got to do, just for the sake of being like, okay, look, let me make sure my family's good. All Geminis are family oriented, whether you believe that or not. Not necessarily friend, but more along the lines of family. But that's because I feel like Geminis feel like it's their obligations, or it's their jobs, it's their duties. You know what I'm saying? But even with people that you would say that, like, they'll name their friend, but it could be somebody that they felt like they had some type of connection with before, that they feel like, okay, I'm gonna still see if that person is good. You know what I'm saying? I want to see if that person is good. Me and that person, we're not enemies, so we're good. You know what I'm saying? And it could be for just networking and contact reasons, but still. But so the June Geminis, I feel like, are more sporadic and more quick with their minds and actions. But remember, the actions could be verbal. You know what I'm saying? So they got a quick response time. The May ones are going to be more slower. They can bring a lot of things into manifestation more quicker, because we're dealing with a lot of Taurian energy. May, that vibe. June, they could have a lot. Man, I'm talking about real creative, but it's so much in their head. There's so much in their head. Is making sure that they keep themselves focused, so that they can bring that down, you know what I'm saying, to actually manifest in their lifetime. And now, you know what I'm saying, it may require extra focus for them. But if they ever get into like a channeling mode, it's on and popping. Like I'm telling you, they will write. All Geminis, May and June, is both good with teaching as well. Okay, so I hope that I kind of summed it up for you. I didn't really go into many details, but I kind of just want to show a little bit of the difference because a subscriber asked me, and I'm trying to get these videos out. You know what I'm saying, on and popping and cracking. And like, if you're a May Gemini and you want to add, and you feel like I didn't say certain things, or if you're a June Gemini and you want to do the same, go ahead in the comment section. All right. It's me, Butterfly to Light. Peace.